Good evening, everyone, and let us go ahead and bring this evening's Finance Committee meeting to order, if we could. So today is Wednesday, October 8th. It is 5 p.m., and it is time to get this meeting rolling. With roll call, we do have enough members present to go ahead and make our quorum this evening, only missing our vice chair as well as Member Farley. So continuing on to our consent agenda, this includes items 2A and B, the approval of minutes for August 14th, 2025 special meeting and September 3rd, 2025 regular meeting, as well as the recommended approval of the bills and transfers, if any, to the county board. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? I see a motion by Member Leffler and a second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, we go ahead and take 2A and B, our consent agenda, including the approval of the minutes and bills, to a vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Moving right along to item number 3, appearance by members of the public and county employees. Administrator Taylor, do we have anybody for public comment this evening?
We do have one request from Art Rodriguez, if he could come to the podium. Art, you will have 5 minutes.
Or did you say 45 minutes? Thank you for your time. Chairman of the Veterans Assistance Commission, I'm here for some issues that have come up financially for our veterans in this community. We submitted vouchers back in July that have not been paid yet to some veteran organizations that are very critical. Many of these veterans are at risk when they come into our office. And if you talk to any veteran organization, they'll tell you the number one risk, again, is suicide. Second is homelessness. Well, McLean County's got something to be proud of. We had 0 suicides last year, and we are on track this year for 0 suicides. But if we put the veteran at risk of possibly being homeless or not being able to have access or equal access as regular citizens here do, it creates a problem and it puts a lot of strain on us. Our results of 0 suicides, and I got to give a shout out to Jerry Vogler and Del Sam, who have worked extremely hard. And I'll give you an example. One of the funds is for outdoor veterans. So they have activities outside. We've been locked up in COVID long enough. Veterans have an issue where they either got to be in a tiny home or they're going to be homeless. So the outdoor veteran group gets them active out there. Another one that's phenomenal is one that we have out in Stamford, which is HUA. And HUA's grabbed some national attention, and we get veterans coming in from all over the place. That's another check that's been out there since August, and it hasn't been paid. So I sent the letter, an email to our auditor. Took 9 days to respond. Got the response on Sunday, and the claim was it's Treasury's fault, or it's Jerry's fault. Well, I work with Jerry. I know it's not going to be his fault. Very meticulous in what he does. Things get done promptly, and all of a sudden we find out Monday the paperwork starts moving after I filed that complaint. I don't know if we can bypass the auditor's office or if we just need to ask for a resignation, because I go by there, I see stacks of papers, I don't see an auditor. My taxes are paying $80-some-odd thousand for an employee that doesn't show up. And I just can't tolerate this anymore. So basically, this is what I wanted to bring up. We have roughly about $50,000 in grants that just haven't been paid. And this goes to strictly help veterans. It doesn't go to buy me a Lamborghini or anything like this. It is serious business. And particularly when we're in the fall with the HUA program, these are veterans that are wearing prostheses, possibly on both legs and arms. There's quadriplegics. They go hunting, they go fishing. The crew that goes out there does it voluntarily, and it gives great resolve. I mean, I'd love you guys to come to their dinner, meet these veterans, and this is the group of veterans that's just shy of giving it all. So hope you guys can help me. And if the auditor's here, which I probably doubt, go find another job. That's all I can say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and that concludes our public comment for the evening. Carrying on to item number 4 brings us to departmental matters. Departmental matters 4A is where we typically would hear from Mr. Jorzak, our supervisor for assessments, but I see we have somebody from Mr. Jorzak's office in place. We have no items to be presented for action this evening, but perhaps some items for information.
Just for information, the assessment rolls for the final 4 townships have been published and notices have been sent out. Notices were sent out with no issues this time, so great thing. Our publishing deadline for assessment complaints will be October 29th for those final 4 townships, which includes the city of Bloomington Township, by the way. And also, there will be another public information session on October 14th, right here in the county boardroom, where Mr. Jorzak, Ms. McNeil, and Ms. Michael will just present information and overview of the whole property tax system. And we'd sure like it if everybody could come and find out what we do.
Thank you very much, Ms. Clifford, and I appreciate all of the work that your team has done to get us to the point where we're almost to the finish line. And thank you also to all offices that are present and participating with those informational sessions. Those have been really, really helpful for our residents in the past, and certainly appreciate all of the efforts that you do going to all of the different corners of our county to make sure that our residents have that information. We'll pause and see if there are any comments or questions from the committee for the assessor's office. All right. Thank you again very much, and we'll carry on to 4B, where we welcome our county treasurer, Ms. Becky McNeil. And it looks like the treasurer's office does have 4 items for action this evening. Item number 4B1A is a request approval of resolutions authorizing the county board chair to execute deeds of conveyance. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor? Motion by member Fagan, second by member Kloss. Ms. McNeil, over to you for any information that we should know on this one.
This month, there are several items on the list, and that is the result of our annual sale of the delinquent surplus properties. All of these parcels, most of them that you're going to see tonight, have a tax sale certificate date of 2021. So that means that the original tax sale to the trustee occurred in tax year 2021, payable 2022. That's essentially how long it takes then from that point for the trustee to purchase the subtaxes on subsequent delinquent years, and then eventually go through the tax deed process due to the property owner's failure to redeem. At that point in time, annually, we have an auction. It's a silent auction of all surplus properties, and that's what you have before you tonight. Bids were received on all of these parcels. And the trustee is requesting that the county accept the amount that was bid and exchange, convey the tax sale certificate, convey the property to the interested party. This is what the program is about, getting these parcels back into the hands of individuals that want to continue to have them and get them back on the tax rolls eventually. So.
Thank you very much for that explanation, Ms. McNeil. Comments or questions from the committee on this particular item? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and take a vote on 4B1A. That's a request approval of the resolution authorizing the county board chair to execute the deeds of conveyance. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. On to item 4B1B, that's a request approval of resolution authorizing the county board chair to execute the deeds of reconveyance. Ms. McNeil, any differences in these that we should be highlighting?
These are parcels that went through the process, and the property owner has since come forward and wants to keep their property. And so they have essentially paid the amount that was due in the property taxes.
Thank you very much. Comments or questions from the committee? Seeing none, we put 4B, 1B to a vote. Oh, that's fabulous. Let's do that. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Roseman Mendoza, second by Member Klaus, and carrying it on to a vote now that we have our motion. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Which carries us on to 4B, 1C, our request approval of resolutions authorizing the county board chair to cancel mobile home tax sale certificate of purchase. May I have a motion by the committee? Motion by Member Fagan, second by Member Klaus.
So just like reconveyance is for real estate, this process is for mobile home. The owner of this mobile home, after the tax sale process, redemption, process of acquiring title, they have decided that they want to also keep their property, and they have paid the amount due.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Comments from the committee? Okay, voting on 4B, 1C, request approval of the resolution authorizing the county board chair to cancel the mobile home sale, tax sale certificate of purchase. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. On to 4B, 1D. This is accept and place on file the county treasurer's monthly financial reports. May I have a motion? Motion by Member Roseman Mendoza, second by Member Leffler. Over to you, Ms. McNeil, to break down for us the monthly report.
Okay. The first report is the report of tax revenue. And you can see there for the month of September, county received $1,083,000 compared to $949,000 in 2024. Year-to-date comparison, we are just slightly under 2024 at this point in time. The year-to-date budget comparison, right now we would expect to be about 75% through budget. We have 73.2%, so we are running about $482,000 under budget right now. The shared sales tax revenue from the City of Bloomington Town of Normal is outlined for you. The equity in that fund at the end of September was $21,032,000. Property tax revenue, the county budget was $49.3 million. The county has received $25.7 million. The rest of the distributions will be released once the county's financial reporting is completed for fiscal year 2024. Motor fuel tax, the county motor fuel tax, $3,129,000. Township motor fuel, $2,607,000. I won't go into all the details. Do you have any questions? The next report is the Treasury report, and during the month of September, as you know, the Fed did move on the rate. We did see about a quarter point drop, not much. I mean, we're still well in the range of 4%, 4.25% actually at the Illinois funds. We did have some of our Treasury investments mature, not really reinvesting right now. We are waiting for second installment taxes, and then we'll invest some of that money for the next 9 months as we currently wait for the next fiscal year to turn around. The overall balance across all funds, $117.3 million. Interest recorded to date in 2025, $2.8 million compared to $5.3 million in 2024. I'm moving quickly through these reports. I know you have a big night ahead of you. The next report is the Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance report. As you know, the county is self-insured. These are the total costs of our plan through the month of September, $6,343,000, compared to September of 2024 of $5,453,000. The stop loss adjustment in category 8 there, $192,000 at this point in time. And that's important to keep watching, because we're going to get into the next few months where I expect our stop loss insurance to kick in even more to protect us from unexpected loss. So. Then the final document you have is for the McLean County Nursing Home. This is through the month of August. The year-to-date revenue recorded $6,790,000. Expenses $6,748,000. So they're just running slightly ahead right now by $41,523. The receivable, we started the year with $5,166,000. At the end of August, the nursing home had a receivable of $4,778,000. So they have made some progress there in writing off, adjusting, and collecting on their receivable, I would say. The cash, at the end of August, the cash was negative $1,536,000. The nursing home, the fund continues to essentially borrow on the general fund. The fund equity, the home started with equity of $1.4 million at the beginning of 2025. Through August, they have $1,444,000. The fund does have a reserve of $2,950,000 set aside for bad debt. Last month, this was well over $3 million set aside, but through the final stages of our audit, we've reduced that based off of the nursing home's outstanding aging report. So again, the nursing home does have, in addition to the equity of $1.4 million, $2.9 million as well. Any questions?
Questions from the committee on the monthly report? All right. Thank you very much, Ms. McNeil, for walking us through where we stand with the monthly report. We'll go ahead and take 4B1D to a vote. That is accepting and placing on file the county treasurer's monthly financial report. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you very much for your assistance through this last month, Ms. McNeil, and also thank you for your partnership with the assessor's office to bring those informational meetings. Definitely recognize that it's across the board that everybody is bringing that information, and also to the clerk's office. Which carries us right along to 4C, where we welcome our Director of Animal Services, Ms. Marshall Thompson. Ms. Thompson has one item for action this evening. That is 4C1A, the request approval of a resolution of the McLean County Board for declaration of surplus property at the Animal Services Department. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor? Motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Fagan. Ms. Thompson,
Good evening.
over to you for information, what we should know about this particular project.
We're just requesting approval to dispose of surplus animal services assets that are no longer needed, and we agree with this request.
Thank you very much. Comments or questions from the committee? All right, this one seems pretty straightforward, but definitely love that there are elements to see what can be recycled along the way and make sure that, that we're being good stewards across the county. So thank you for that one. We'll go ahead, seeing no questions. We'll take 4C1A, the approval of the resolution for the declaration of surplus property at Animal Services. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Moving on to items to be presented for information. Ms. Thompson, over to you for your monthly report, please.
Wanted to say that the building is just beautiful. We're really enjoying all the new aspects about it, and so are the animals. Staff continues to diligently care for the animals at the new facility, and I appreciate all of their hard work and dedication to the program and the community. A lot of fun pictures there of all the action moments. We continue to facilitate reclaims, adoptions, and transfers. Year-to-date, 167 cats and 76 dogs have been transferred into other adoption programs, in addition to the private adoptions of 39 dogs and 94 cats. So in total, 376 pets have been adopted or transferred year-to-date, so yay. I'm happy about all of our efforts there. We facilitated 289 rabies inoculations. Going on to the rabies prevention part of it, we've submitted for rabies testing 54 bats, 2 raccoons, 3 cats, 2 opossums, and 3 dogs. So thank you to all the dedicated staff for protecting the community in that effort. In addition, we've monitored 409 bite rabies investigations and worked with communicable disease at the health department during those recommendations for whenever PEP might be needed. And we'd also like to remind pet owners about vaccinating their pets for rabies and preventing your home from having bats come in there. And going on to our overpopulation control program, 144 feline alters, 77 canine alters, 284 microchips implanted, and 289 rabies vaccines. I want to thank our partnerships in the community for transferring those animals. We really appreciate the collaboration, and we want to continue to move forward with that effort. And also, we've been seeing a lot more volunteers, so that's been really exciting watching them come in and be able to have a nice space that they can engage with those extra enrichment for the animals, like dog bathing, grooming, taking care of the cats and dogs, and dog walking. So we appreciate all of our new volunteers. And here's some of our adoption promotions of animals that have been adopted on our next page. It's always fun to see those animals get into their forever home. So once again, I want to thank the community for this wonderful place to conduct animal services, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Ms. Thompson. Comments or questions from the committee? As always, it seems like your team has been incredibly hard at work. Thank you for providing some fun video to complement our experience this evening. It really is great to see some of the efforts come into full living color with really cute fluffy things running around.
I know, they're adorable. So they'll be officially available for adoption tomorrow, so I expect a very busy day.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So hopefully somebody here this evening will be going home with a puppy tomorrow. No? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's a kitty. Someone from this meeting will leave with a puppy or a kitty at some point in the next week. I can feel it.
Oh, good.
Thank you again very much for your team's assistance. That carries us on to 4D, where we would welcome our county auditor, Michelle Anderson, who has no items to be presented for action. Was there anything requested to be presented for information from that office this month? No. No? So no updates on outgoing anything? Okay. Carrying right along to 4E, where we have and welcome our county clerk, Ms. Kathy Michael. Ms. Michael has one item to be presented for action this evening. That is 4E1A, the request to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean and the Octavia Park District for temporary financial assistance. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? I see a motion by Member Rosamond Mendoza and a second by Member Fagan. Ms. Michael, over to you for this one.
Well, it says self-explanatory on page 34, a mistake. I'll take responsibility for it, a miscalculation. And this is the way our wonderful attorney has found that we can help Octavia as they do need this money. And it was proposed that we, the county, offer a loan to them.
Thank you very much, Ms. Michael. Over to the committee for comments or questions. Seeing none, I did have one question on this particular matter. So I do appreciate your ownership and want to recognize that mistakes happen along the way, and we've seen some mistakes pop up here and there, and definitely appreciate our leaders in the county stepping forward and taking that ownership and working with administration to be able to find ways to make it better. Just wanted to ask the question. So we've seen this particular situation happen a couple times this year, and I'd love to learn a little bit more about what your office is doing with mitigation efforts to make sure that everything is squared away and we don't have this type of mistake again.
I can't promise that you won't have mistakes from our office in the future.
I won't ask for promises
No,
on that.
I understand
We're
that.
human.
So just be patient with us, and hopefully we won't have as many mistakes next year. It's the first one I can remember in 15 years, so we will ask for your forgiveness, and we'll try to do better. We have a new, well, I won't go into that. Staffing is wonderful, and we have some wonderful new staff, and it's a challenging job, as everyone here has a challenging job, and we appreciate your patience and understanding. And if you have specific questions that I can't answer here, come down and talk to us. We'll be glad to go over those as well. And I'd like to say that our reception from the folks where we've had miscalculations has been very professional and really appreciated.
That's great to hear also. It just kind of goes to represent and show what a great community of folks that we have, and how we have really solid two-way communication that is respectful at all points in time. So any additional comments or questions from the committee? Okay. Let's go ahead and put 4E1A to a vote. That's the request to approve an intergovernmental agreement between the County of McLean and Octavia Park District for the temporary financial assistance. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. On to 4E1 or 4E2 with your monthly reporting and anything else you'd like to share, Ms. Michael.
No, it's just another, thank you. It's another challenging year as we get ready already for the 2026 election cycle, as well as getting through the tax cycle. It's a challenging job. There's never a dull moment, and I think you all can say the same thing. And go Cubs, they're ahead 4-1. Not that I was paying any attention.
Excellent. Well, for anyone who can't see, it looks like Ms. Michael is representing appropriately in a attire, and we'll see if there are any other phones out checking scores throughout the course of the meeting today. Thank you very much, Ms. Michael, to you and to your office for your diligence. Let's continue on to 4F, where we get to welcome Suzanne Montoya, our Court Services Director. We have item number 4F1A, the request approval to apply for a county credit card for the McLean County Juvenile Detention Center. Might I have a motion to put this on the floor for discussion? Motion by Member Roseman Mendoza and a second by Member Klaus. Ms. Montoya?
Hello.
Information. Thank you.
Walmart is where we have historically purchased all of our items for both the probation department and the detention facility, and they are terminating their store community credit card as of October 31st of this year. And so we are just requesting, downtown, we do have a Commerce Bank Visa card, but we are requesting a second card for the juvenile detention facility, so we can continue on with the purchase of the items for that facility, and also are hopeful that maybe it will be a cost savings where we'll be able to use other stores, Aldi's, Sam's, for some bulk items.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that additional context. Comments or questions from the committee? Seeing none, we can go ahead and vote on 4F1A, the request approval to apply for the county credit card for the McLean County Juvenile Detention Center. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Next up is 4F1B, the request approval of the resolution amending the funded full-time equivalent position resolution for 2025 general fund. May I have a motion? Motion by Member Klaus, second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Ms. Montoya, over to you.
We currently have a vacancy at the juvenile detention facility for our nurse position, and it's our understanding at the beginning of 2025, there was a market adjustment for similar positions in the county at the health department and BHCC, and those nurses were reclassified to a grade 11, so we're asking also that our juvenile detention center nurse is also reclassified to grade 11.
Thank you very much. Committee comments or questions? This one seems like just bringing this role up to parity with others. Excellent. Let's go ahead and take 4F1B to a vote then, seeing no further comments with the request approval of the resolution amending that funded full-time equivalent position in the 2025 General Fund JDC RN. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much, Ms. Montoya, for your presence and all of your efforts. This carries us along to 4G, where we get to connect with our county administrator, Ms. Cassie Taylor. It looks like Ms. Taylor has quite the listing this evening, so I won't count them up. But the first action item is 4G1A, and that's the request approval of a resolution establishing rates for health and life insurance coverage for fiscal year 2025, and might I have a motion. Motion by member Roseman Mendoza, and a second. Second by member Fagan. Ms. Taylor, over to you to discuss our life insurance.
Sure. So this is on page 50 and 51, we have a pretty detailed memo, and I do appreciate the efforts of our HR department to assist us in having the meetings that we do with our broker to try to find the best benefits for our employees every year as we review how we are faring with our self-funded program. And so this is our annual resolution to establish those rates for the upcoming year for fiscal year 2026.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Comments or questions from the committee? Say it's nice to see that we don't have large rate hikes across the board. It looks like we've got lots of available options. I really appreciate all of the work that administration goes into making sure that all of our county employees are well taken care of and have appropriate options for them and their family members.
Thank you. We do review it every year. There are additional things we'd like to do, and so we constantly are looking to improve this program and the benefit package for employees.
That's great. Thank you very much. Seeing no other comments or questions from the committee, we'll go ahead and take 4G1A, the request approval of the resolution establishing the rates for health and life insurance coverage for fiscal year 2025 to a vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. 4G1B is the request approval of a resolution transferring monies from the County General Fund to the PBC Lease Fund 0161 and PBC Ren/O&M Fund 0162 for the fiscal year 2025. Might I have a motion? Motion by member Loeffler and a second by member Klaus. Ms. Taylor.
Thank you, Chair Lehman. This request is a temporary transfer request. This is needed because of the delay with our audit in ACFR this year. We will not be able to receive funds from the second disbursement of our taxes, property tax accrual, and so we are in need of funds to supplement our general into this fund from our general fund to make those payments to our PBC. When we do receive the second installment, we will be able to reimburse the general fund for those costs.
Comments or questions from the committee? When we do receive those funds, what's the overall timeline look like to be able to kind of put the period on the end of that reimbursement process?
Well, she's smiling, but I will turn that over to the treasurer to let me know how quickly her team could make that happen.
So once the audit is finished and it's presented by the auditor, then the board has to adopt the audit and adopt the annual comprehensive financial report, accept those on file. From that point, then Clifton Larson Allen will proceed to file our official AFR with the Illinois Comptroller's Office. Once that is submitted, then I will release those funds to the county. And it's just essentially a matter of a day. We'll have them transferred into the county's general account from the collector account.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I appreciate the breakdown on that. And I'd be remiss if I didn't reiterate my thanks to you and this committee's thanks to you for all of the efforts that you have put in through such a challenging and frustrating process. Exciting to know that we are at least getting close to that finish line, and that as soon as we reach it, we'll be able to make sure funds get to where they need to be.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on 4G 1B. That's the request approval of the resolution transferring monies from the County General Fund to the PBC Lease Fund 0161 and PBC Ren O&M Fund 162 for fiscal year 2025. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Carrying us along to 4G 1C, this is the request approval of a second McLean County Animal Control Shelter Project intergovernmental agreement. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Klaus, second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Ms. Taylor, over to you for C.
Yes, thank you, Chair Lehman. So this is a request for an IGA related to our efforts with the PBC. This project is the $200,000 in state grant funds that we received thanks to our local legislators, Senator Mr. Kaler, who provided funds for fencing in our animal services outside area for the dog runs. And so this allows us to make those additional funds available to that project with our Public Building Commission. And I do want to thank Tony Grant for his efforts with the grant itself, but also with coordinating with the PBC each month. That meeting happens at the same time as our Justice Committee, so he runs to that meeting and then back to our county committees when that happens. So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Grant. And it certainly sounds like there are some big thanks to folks who advocated. It was kind of a bummer to potentially see the project go through and not be able to have all of the really great pieces. But it sounds like by a lot of efforts from administration and efforts from elected officials like Mr. Kaler, as well as the continuing advocacy from the Animal Services Department, we will potentially get to move forward with these exciting amenities. So comments or questions from the committee regarding this piece? No? Okay. So 4G1C is the request approval for that second McLean County Animal Control Shelter Project intergovernmental agreement. Might I have, or let's take it to a vote. It's still early in the evening and I'm already fumbling. Sorry, everybody. Let's go ahead and take it to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, on to 4G1D. This is what kicks off the litany of action items that are associated with our upcoming budget.
Yes, so you're looking at the draft budget. So when you're going through the budget lines, just make sure that it's 2026.
Got it.
That was my note that was passed to me.
Oh, thank you very much. All right. So item number 4G, 1D, we'll go ahead and get a motion to discuss the request approval of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the General Fund 0001, County Auditor Department 0003, Auditing and Financial Management Program 0003. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Roseman Mendoza, and a second? Second by Member Class. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I have just a couple of slides for this department. You can read there the purpose of the auditor's office for the county and the responsibilities of that role per statute. It does begin in your packet on page 64. It's just a couple of pages. For an overview, the auditor's budget increased 1%. Salaries and employee cost comprise 94% of this budget, which supports 2 FTEs. Supplies decreased by 5%, and contractual services expenses increased by 2%. That is all I have. I'm happy to answer any line item questions you might have.
Questions by the committee? Member Class.
So I don't know if we can do it here because I don't know how this all works, but if we want to get into details about salary adjustments or freezes or anything, do we have to go into like closed session on all that?
So if you're asking for an adjustment to a budget line for salaries, that would not require, I don't believe that would require a closed session. If you're wanting to talk about an individual, that would require a closed session.
Okay.
But also elected salaries are set by ordinance or resolution. And so.
And the increases are automatic, and so there's nothing we can do to freeze it versus
For an
allow it
elected
for an
position.
elected official, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Other comments or questions? I was curious in taking a look at the full-time employee salary on the 2025 actual amount, all the way down, it's zero. So on the full-time employee salary, is that position still open? Has it been open for the entire 2025 year? And if we are budgeting for this particular position, looks like only 2 full-time employees in the office. That would be potentially an important position. What efforts are we having to make sure that the thing we're budgeting for actually gets used?
So that position has been vacant for the entire 2025 year. Our HR department continues to post that position and check in with the auditor to see if she has candidates that she's interested in interviewing and hiring. And so far, we have not had any successful candidate make its way to the auditor's employment.
Okay, thank you for that update. Seeing no other comments or questions, let's go ahead and take 4G 1D. And that's the 2026 recommended budget for General Fund, County Auditor, and Auditing Financial Management Program to a vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Carrying on to 4G 1E is the request approval of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the General Fund 0001 Assessment Office, Department 0049, including G1 Property Assess, Review, Supervise Program 0054, and G2, the Board of Review Program 0055. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Klaus. Administrator Taylor, over to you for the Assessment Office.
Thank you, Chair. The McLean County Supervisor of Assessments, also known as the Chief County Assessment Officer, runs a very tight ship in the assessment office, and they are responsible for township equalization, exemptions, and facilitating Board of Review hearings for the county. For their overview, the overall budget increased 10%, largely due to an increase in cost of services. So schooling and conference expense increased 41%. They are expecting new employees. They have been informed that they will have 3 retirements in 2026 of longstanding employees. And so there is a need for those new employees that are hired to take classes for the CIAO certification. We also have a postage increased for a department that does a lot of posting mail, and we also have a contract services increase. That increase shows a large percentage increase. That is for a digitization project for old records for $34,000. And so digitizing these records safeguards them from damage due to water or fire. That department has had 2 flooding events in 2025 in this building, and so it is important to protect those records. For the Board of Review, there is a 22% increase in that budget. Supply costs increased 46%, and schooling and conferences increased here as well. The schooling and conference for this line, they do have 2 brand-new Board of Review members that also require a CIA certification, and they are recommending a slight per diem rate increase for their Board of Review members. And so I think that covers those highlights for that department.
Thank you very much. Administrator Taylor, comments or questions from the committee? Member Class.
On the FTE sheet that comes in our packet at the end, for the Assistant Chief Assessment Officer, it's still 1 FTE, but the amount decreased a lot in the year. Is there something there?
Yes, we have the unfortunate news that a longstanding employee, Connie Clifford, will be retiring. She has been with us for many years, so she is at the higher quartile of the scale, and we expect that a new assistant coming in would come in at a lesser rate due to fewer years' experience.
So basically, we're expecting her, she's retiring before December 31st in 26, it looks like, so that's why it's a
Correct.
partial year, basically. Okay, thank you.
Other questions? All right, let's go ahead and take G1E to a vote. That is the request approval of the fiscal year covering the assessment office. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. On to 4G1F. Request approval of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the County Clerk Department 0005, including H1 General Fund 0001, Elections Program 0006, Records Program 0007, and Illegal Records Documentation 0008, and H2 the Recorder Document Storage Fund 0137, Legal Records Documentation Program 0008, and H3 County Clerk Document Storage Fund 0164, Records Program 0007, and H4 GIS Fee Fund 0167, Legal Records Documentation Program 0008. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Klaus. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you. It's unfortunate that our county clerk left for this part of the program. I note here that their office has many responsibilities. They take care of vital records, elections, property tax extension, business services, and recording and document storage. for the county. Their overview, the total general fund budget for these three funds is the ones listed here: elections, records, and legal records documentation. The total for those three funds is $2,102,126, with salaries and employee costs making up 47%, which is the largest portion of that budget. Moving on to elections, the overall revenues decreased 10% overall, and that was due to grant revenues that decreased. For overall expenses, they increased 80% due to election expenses, with 2026 being a general election year. For FTE changes, we reduced the FTEs by one program administrator position at the request of the clerk, and we are requesting a reclassification of the remaining program administrator from a grade 9 to a grade 11. Moving on to clerk records. Overall revenues increased 18%. The amounts budgeted do reflect the current trends in marriage licenses and birth certificates, also redemption fees. For our overall expenses in this fund, it increased 3%. That was mainly due to salaries. The total for this fund is $323,965. And then for clerk legal records, overall revenues increased 1%, expenses increased 5%. That was for budgeted salaries. Contractual services increased 1%. Supplies did decrease somewhat, with a decrease of 5% with those categories. Moving on to legal records and recorder document storage. This is a special fund 0137. This budget decreased due to a decrease in revenue from fees that supports the special fund. Software license agreements increased 4%, and that supports current contracts for COT, and I think that contract increased due to hosting data in the cloud. So it was an increase of a little over $2,000 a month for that service. Going on to document storage is a special fund 164. That budget increased 1% and supports a half-time deputy county clerk. Total budgeted for that fund is $28,107. And then for our GIS fees, that budget increased 32%. The budget of $165,000 is a transfer to other funds. We have $130,000 that goes to our GIS division of our IT department. They did increase their request for this year so that a flyover can be completed for the county in 2026. That happens about every 3 or 4 years, depending on change within the county. 30% goes to the assessor's office, and then another $5,000 goes to expenses for IT GIS staff related to their office management. I think that's it for this department.
All right. Thank you very much for the breakdown, Administrator Taylor. Comments or questions on the clerk's department? Member Klaus.
Just a general process question. So I think early on, you were showing that we reclassified one role from a level 9 to a level 11. Is it typical that we skip a level? And I'm just curious how we determine whether it's a 9 to a 10, or if there's outside data, or how it is. I'm just trying to get in light.
So each department brings requests to administration if they want a reclassification or to add an FTE, and there is a process where they work within our current format for our classification system, and so they would provide it's a JAT, I can't remember what it stands for, but it analyzes the duties of that job in relation to other positions in the county. If it's a supervisory position, how many they're supervising, what types of work that they're creating, how many professional certifications, or what is the education level that's required for the position, and that drives a little bit what the grade of the position would be. And so there is a formula within HR that they follow for that classification system. Sometimes it is not unusual to skip a grade if the person, and in this case, she's moving from 2 people doing that role to 1 person. And so I think it was efficiencies that were found that she believes 1 person is able to do that role, but since they are taking on the responsibilities that were previously completed by 2 people, we felt like that was appropriate. It also moves it up into an exempt position. And so with the level of responsibility for all the election judges, we did feel that it was appropriate to be an exempt position.
Additional comments or questions? I had a few. Unfortunately, don't have the opportunity to connect with our clerk on it, but hopefully administration might be able to help out along the way. So on the very first page, and you mentioned in your breakdown, the decrease in the revenue because of the grant, or the 10,000 in grants. I was just curious, I'm guessing it's the Help America Vote federal grant, if we knew a little bit about why there was the $10,000 decrease in that particular grant?
I do not know why, specifics of why those grant funds were decreased, but we did see it in, I believe, 2 different grants. Her Help America Vote grant, as well as the State of Illinois Voter Registration Grant, saw decreases. I do not have specifics on why those were dropped.
Okay. All right, my next question is on that following page. Let's see, it's under county clerk elections, under the expense line 07730001, non-contractual services. So we have non-contractual services. We have an increase that's slated for 2026, going from 115,000 to 207,000. But I note that after we budgeted for 115,000 in 2025, that is, we're not through the year yet, and that's almost doubled, or has doubled in amount. And it looks like there's a pattern of that it happened in 2024 also, where we had an adopted budget of 190,000 and it went up to 237,000. Just curious if we had any information around why that typically happens, that we're going over budget, and if we're comfortable with what we've budgeted this year, that we're not going to go over budget.
So we do ask our department heads to try to remain within their budget. I know that the reasoning that we have been given in the past for this specific fund is that elections cost money, and that's about all we've been given for an explanation. So I am not confident that we will not go over for this department. I do know that every year we do ask, and we do have to make adjustments at the end of the year as an end-of-year cleanup. It is the discretion of this committee if they would like to adjust that budget. Our intention with this was to really encourage the department to stay within their budget.
So I think that's, I certainly don't want to make any 11th hour budgetary adjustments because I'm certainly not the expert. Understanding elections do cost money, right? Like it's going to be an expensive process to make sure that we can have free and fair elections. My concern more so is on the departmental management piece and making sure that if we've committed to a certain amount, that we set precedents in place to make sure that we come, we come close. I get if we go over a little bit, but this is kind of extraordinary and is starting to set a precedent that we're really going over. So I wish we had our clerk here to be able to maybe explain, because I'm sure there are some things that I don't get on elections themselves. But perhaps it might be advantageous maybe to learn from the clerk's office what processes they're putting in place for the 2026 budget year to make sure that we stick to our commitments.
So this would be a little unusual, but this committee could table this specific funds approval until November to receive more information from the clerk if you so choose. Or I could ask her to provide that information and I could send it out to the committee in between this meeting and the next committee meeting.
I'll open it up. Do we have any comments or questions on
I
this?
guess if we can table it, I would, because that's pretty extraordinary overage there.
So is that a motion to table
Yes,
this
I move
aspect?
to table
Okay.
that.
And is there a second? So we have a second by Member Roseman Mendoza with that motion by Member Leffler.
And so just for clarification, that is for the elections program 0006.
Yes, correct. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a vote then to table that particular item. So we're taking a vote to table here we go, to table the election, the election program 0006 until date certain of next month. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. So now at this stage, we're going back to comments or questions for all of the items.
Correct.
So any additional comments or questions on any of those additional funds that we already have the motion for? Okay. All right. Seeing no additional comments or questions, then we're going to go ahead and take 4G1F to a vote. And this is everything except for that elections program 0006. Because we removed that, need I read all of that again?
No, I don't think so.
Fabulous. All of those in favor of passing item F, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And bringing us along to G1, 4G1G. This is the request approval of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the County Treasurer Department 0004, including C1, the General Fund 0001, Financial Management Program 0004, and C2, Collector Automation Fund 0168, Financial Management Program 0004. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Fagan, second by Member Leffler. Administrator Taylor, over to you for the Treasurer Department.
Thank you so much, Chair Lehman. The Treasurer's Office has a lot of responsibility within their department. The Treasurer oversees cash management, investments, revenue accounting, payroll accounting, and accounts payable for the county. The County Treasurer is also responsible for overseeing the collection and distribution of over $462 million to nearly 200 taxing bodies. As we look at the revenues for this department's operation, the overall revenues increased 79%. Revenue from interest on investments increased 60% from 2025. And then interest on certificates of deposit, again, increased substantially as a result of rising interest rates. For expenses, the overall budget shows a 2% increase over 2025. Requests, there is a request here for a reclass for an accounting specialist to grade 7 position to a senior accounting specialist, grade 8. We did have postage increase. You'll see postage in almost all of the departments who have heavy mailing responsibilities. We have advertising increasing 5%, office furniture by 4,000. Contract services did decrease by 25%, and our bank service charge decreased 50%. You will note in the treasurer's budget, there is a contra salary line. I just want to explain that to the committee. That is a portion of our administrative surcharge that we charge to special funds. It is a reimbursement of the expenses of the treasurer. Before, a few years back, it was booked as a revenue, but in accordance with GASB, we now have to claim it as a contra salary line. So you will see that contra salary in the IT department, the treasurer's office, and administration. We divide it up appropriately depending on the work of those departments. So in case you had a question about that line, wanted to make sure that I explained that. And then there is no slide for Special Fund 168, the Collector Automation Fund. It had no change from the previous year. It remains at $13,000. I think that's it.
Thank you very much, Administrator Taylor. Comments or questions on the treasurer's line budget? Yep, Member Fagan.
Administrator Taylor, you mentioned that that it was actually a reimbursement to the treasurer, but it's listed as a salary. How does that affect their taxes?
It's a negative, it's a contra, so it's a negative
Oh,
salary
okay.
line
All
that
right.
offsets some of
Okay.
those costs from the general fund.
Gotcha, I missed that part. Thank you.
Other questions? Seeing none, we'll take a vote on 4G, 1G, the request approval of the fiscal year 2026 for the County Treasurer's Department. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to 4G, 1H is the request approval of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the General Fund 0001, Animal Control Department 0032, including J1, Animal Control Program 0065, and J2, Municipal Warden Program 0066. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Klaas, second by Member Fagan. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. For Animal Services, you will see in your packet and in your agenda, it does refer to this department as the Animal Control Department. We did make an official change to this department for Animal Services, but we haven't changed our old software. Hoping to see that change when we move to our new ERP system, which will happen in a few more months. So Animal Services, a budget overview. This program, I'm not going to read that whole slide. I know that Marshall does a great job in covering the core elements of her department in her report each month. She talks about that at length. Her total budget for shelter and warden cost is around $1.1 million. It's $1,111,890. The breakdown there is on the pie chart. Salaries and employee costs comprise 66% of this budget. For the animal shelter program, the revenues remain the same as in 2025. Overall expenses increased 23%. The FTE changes that are requested are to accommodate the larger building. There was a request to upgrade the animal control warden grade 5 position to a field services supervisor grade 8. That person right now is a warden, and he really serves as the lead supervisor for that division, and so this would make that appropriate to his current tasks that he's taken on. There is a request to add a full-time kennel tech, grade 4 position. The kennel tech will be responsible for all of the cleaning for the kennel side of business. And then administrative specialist 4, grade 7, there's a request to upgrade that to an administrative supervisor 2, grade 8. Some of these adjustments were made after work with our HR department in trying to look at their organizational chart as they moved into the new building and to see what the new needs would be in that space and kind of realigning the work that they were doing in those different lines of business. Looking at the animal control warden program, revenues stayed the same for this program. It also includes municipal contracts with our cities and towns and animal reclamation fees. The expenses increased 4% due to salaries, benefits, and the StarCom radio fees that went up. And that's all I had for slides for this department. We're happy to answer any specific questions.
Questions? Member Klaus?
General question. So on the slide with the benefits and the salary, the fringe benefits was like 1%, and it seems like for most other departments, it's normally higher. Is there a reason on why it's so much smaller for animal services?
The pie chart only shows 1% for that 9,000 for the salaries. I see. We do have a good answer. The IMRF and FICA have not been included yet into this budget because that comes. So it's, it's not shown. It's just the health insurance portion for their employees. Took us a minute to get there, but we got there.
Other questions? All right, I have a couple. One of them on the very first page under expenses, and I don't know if this would more so be for Ms. Thompson or for Ms. Taylor, but one of the things I noticed is line 0526.001, where we're reviewing overtime pay. So consistently, we budget $500 for overtime pay. Yet consistently, overtime pay is one of those things that is getting into the 5,000 range. This year, thus far, we're 6,900 at the time of the budget. I understand staffing levels change and shift along the way. We have situations where somebody will be sick and somebody else maybe works overtime. You have gaps in staffing, et cetera. But I'm just curious if we know that that's a trend in the department, that we really rely on our folks to step up as needed. Why not budget more for overtime pay to make sure that we're not shifting on the back end? So I don't know who prefers to hop in.
I could just maybe contribute and then let Ms. Taylor take it from there. A lot of those things are from the uncertainty of the intergovernmental agreements. We get into situations where we have to 24/7 respond, and if a shift change happens, you still have to finish that activity associated with that intergovernmental agreement. But we do talk extensively with our staff about you have to have permission for the overtime, but it's hard to know what that's going to look like each year.
Yeah.
I hope
And
that
I-
answers your question.
Yeah, I certainly appreciate that, especially in a department like yours, you're going to probably experience overtime, right? But my question is more so on the budgeting factor, on why don't we just look at historical trends and try to meet that?
So if you look at the grand totals for the budgeted and actuals, she still came in way under budget for her actuals as a total. And so when you're looking at a category, which is what we do for, as far as adjustments or overall to see if it's being mismanaged, she didn't have any costs with her seasonal occasional position. I'm guessing that position was vacant for a while, and so she had to use existing staff to cover those duties while they were looking for seasonal occasional staff, so it kind of
Okay.
offset each other.
Okay.
So with being fully staffed, with the request that we are making for the 2026 year, I believe that you will see that righted in a way.
Excellent. I appreciate having the staff planning kind of insight too. And then this one is just a silly one, but on the municipal warden, just under the services, it looks like on the 2025 actual, we don't have anything calculated yet, but is a pretty decent budget amount. And I was just wondering, for my own edification on the process, are those typically things that we don't charge until the end of the year?
So which,
So 2025 actual on, here,
which line?
the services segment?
Oh,
There's been expenses since that was read.
Okay,
that was our confusion because we do have a few invoices that have been processed, so ours were not all zeros, so that's why I was trying to look
Okay.
back and forth. So administrative surcharge, that is a
That'll be at the
end of the year transfer. And so there have been, in telephone services, there's 969,000, so, or $969 so far that has been expensed, and,
hasn't been paid yet.
yep, and Starcom radios haven't been paid yet. That must come, that invoice must come at the end of their year as well. She's
Okay.
nodding her head yes, so.
awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the additional information. Other comments from the committee? All right, let's go ahead and vote on 4G1H. That is the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for animal services. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Carrying on to 4G1 this is the request approval of the fiscal year 2025-2026 recommended budget for the Cooperative Extension Fund, 0133 Cooperative Extension Department, 0088 Cooperative Extension Program, 0088. Might I have a motion? Motion by member Leffler, second by member Fagan. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I do appreciate Ms. Buckley being here tonight and for her patience as she was at the end of the agenda. For our University of Illinois Extension Service, we do have an explanation here of how this works with the U of I Extension. So general property tax revenue is a source of income for this fund. The Extension Council voted at their at their meeting to levy an amount of $400,000 in April. That was very early in the process, and part of that meeting discussion was that there was a consideration if we needed to reduce that amount as we got into the budget process itself. In August, we did consult with the director, and she very graciously agreed that we would reduce the levy to $300,000 to make it level with the FY 2025 amount for this year, understanding that that's not something that we'll be able to do forever, and we will definitely be looking at this again in 27 when we set the FY 27 budget. But that was the route that we went for this, and so expenditures in this fund for the distribution and payment of the cooperative extension then is a responsibility of the U of I.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Administrator Taylor. Comments and questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and put 4G1I, the request approval of the fiscal year 26 recommended budget for the cooperative extension, to a vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. 4G1J takes us to the request approval of the fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the Veterans Assistance Commission Fund, 0136 Veterans Assistance Department, 0065 Veterans Assistance Program, 0074. Might I have a motion? Motion by member Leffler and a second by member Fagan. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you. Again, thank you for your patience. For those of you who are at the end of the agenda, we do have Jerry Vogler here, who runs the program, and Art Rodriguez from Veterans Assistance. So this program does great work to provide assistance to veterans and their family in securing benefits and services. They provide assistance to obtain certified copies of active duty records. They provide veterans and their families with information and language to human services resources, which Art explained some of those efforts. And they also provide temporary emergency assistance to vets for rent and mortgage payments, utility payments, transportation to medical centers, and they also offer grants to special programs. The next page, or next slide, for this budget, it has an overall budget increase of 20%. We met with the Veterans Assistance Commission representatives, and they agreed that the request is a just and necessary amount for the assistance they require. Salaries increased 31%. They are requesting a restructuring of the FTEs in that department. And so we have listed there on the slide the different changes. They increased grade for their superintendent from grade 10 to grade 15. They promoted grade 10 VSO to a VSO 3, grade 13. They reclassified grade 6 administrative specialist 3 to a grade 10 VSO. And they added a grade 11 VSO. So they're requesting a change where they will not have an administrative person like an office manager or a secretarial assistant. They will instead have VSOs that have potential for promotion with experience. They also increased the emergency assistance by $15,000 to provide grants to cover veterans organizations that are sponsoring veteran activity events in the community. And I think that covers the major changes.
Thank you, Administrator Taylor. Comments or questions from the committee? Member Roseman Mendoza?
So the grade 10 to grade 15, is that accounting for the secretarial position being eliminated to more of a, no, that's the superintendent, but it does seem like it's a really drastic jump from 10 to 15.
That was at the request of the commission based on their research on other organizations, VACs, that provide similar service.
Okay, so making comparable
market
salary
comparison.
upwards. Okay, thank you.
Other comments or questions? No? I do have one. So with an overall salary increase of 31%, I completely appreciate going through and making sure that the organization is structured in a way that it can deliver the services that the community really leans on them to deliver. So this is an adjustment that we're making for the 26 budget. How confident is administration that we can sustain this type of salary structure for this organization in future budgets going forward?
Well, there is a specific levy for this program that is set by statute, and so the VAC really tells us what their needs are, and then by state law, we are required to provide it. So I'm very, very confident that we will meet those
Got it.
rules
right.
and regulations.
Excellent. Thank you for that clarification, that we will absolutely make whatever requirements need to happen. Any other comments or questions from the committee? All right, let's go ahead and take 4G 1J to a vote, and that is our request approval of the fiscal year 26 recommended budget for the Veterans Assistance Commission Fund. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Bringing us to 4G 1K, the request approval of a fiscal year 2026 recommended budget for the Historical Museum Fund, 0134, Historical Museum Department, 0072, Historical Museum Maintenance Program, 0072. And might I have a motion? Motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Klaus. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you. I only have one slide for the Museum of History. So that is, general property tax is the only county source of revenue for this program. We have budgeted $80,000, consistent with the 2025 levy. And then we distribute that back to the Museum of History in total.
All right. Comments or questions for the Museum of History line? All right, seeing none. We'll go ahead and vote on 4G1K. That is the request approval of the fiscal year 26 budget for History Museum Fund. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Moving us along to our second to last budget item of the evening with 4G1L, the request approval of the fiscal year 26 recommended budget for the General Fund 0001, Bloomington Election Commission Department 0048, City Election Program 0053. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Roseman Mendoza, second by Member Klaus. Administrator Taylor, would love to hear from you.
Thank you. The City of Bloomington Election Commission provides for elections within the City of Bloomington. Kind of self-explanatory with the name. So on the slide here, you'll see the history of that formation. Back in 1885, the state of Illinois created a statute that allows for it. And they defined all the procedures at that time for which a city, village, or incorporated town could create a Board of Election Commissioners. In Bloomington, that was established back in 1914. And so it's been here for a while. Their total budget request is $904,728. It is a 7% increase over fiscal year 2025, and that increase is related to salaries, and I think that is about, I think they have a very tight budget for the Election Commission. So I think most of it is salaries.
Comments or questions from the committee? My question on this one particularly is, I recognize that it is salaries, but it looks like some of these salaries are a pretty big jump. One of which being like an $8,000 salary increase. And I was just curious, what's the overall merit or structure that has gone into such a big jump in said salary?
So the commission itself sets those salaries for the director and the assistant director. The county does not set those salaries.
Okay, so it's not along the lines of the typical salary process that we have encountered.
Correct.
And they pass this along to us, and we are obliged to go through and to ensure that this.
Correct.
I would love that kind of process for my salary. Would someone please let my employer know to pass that along? Okay, other comments or questions from the county? Member Klaus.
So just jump, so this is the Bloomington Election Commission, and then we've got our county, so this is the crux of where somebody's talking about, we have duplication, right? They're doing the same thing, but this really isn't under the city of Bloomington, it falls under us somehow, or what the
So
heck
by,
is this?
yes, by statute, it's kind of combined. So part of the expenses fall under the city of Bloomington, but we also are responsible to levy through the county. And so the budget you see here is the portion that we are responsible for the county.
So any idea how much is our portion versus what the city gets? Is it like 50-50 roughly, or any ballpark?
I am not, I don't have that information available, but I could bring that to the committee.
And
Sorry
she
for not
said the
having
way
that right
it's
now.
set, I like the way it's set, so I guess there's not a whole lot we're gonna do about it, so.
Thank you. All right, no other comments or questions? We'll take 4G. Oh, absolutely. I'd like to recognize Vice Chair Rogal for a comment or question.
I just have, are they eligible to apply for the same grants that the clerk's office is available to apply for?
Yes, and I do believe that they do an excellent job with their grants. I do think we have a commission member that would like to address as well.
I just didn't see it on the form, that's why I'm just asking.
Okay, all right. Okay, hi. Hi, I'm one of the commissioners for the Bloomington Election Commission. My name is Terry Luce. And yes, we do apply for the grants. We do receive them. They were reduced this year. We apply them as best we can. We run a very streamlined organization. The funds that we receive are not county funds. They are actually city taxpayer funds, to be clear. It's just that we have to come to the county to get the funds. And the county gives us the funds from the city taxpayer funds. We do not get any county, other than City of Bloomington taxpayer funds. Exactly. Correct. I just wanted to be clear on that point.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for being here and for your clarification.
You're welcome.
Again, appreciate those of you who stayed around to the very end for all the questions. Additional comments or questions on the Bloomington Election Commission item? All right, let's go ahead. Member Rogal, any other? Okay. Let's go ahead and vote 4G 1L, and that's the request approval of the budget for the Bloomington Election Commission. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. And folks, we are here at our last budget item for the evening, 4G1M. No drum roll? There we go. That's the request approval of fiscal year 2025 recommended budget for the Tort Judgment Fund 0135, Tort Judgment Department 0077, including L1, the Risk Management Insurance Program 0077, and the L2, Risk Management Civil Program 0078. Might I have a motion? Motion by Member Loeffler, second by Member Roseman Mendoza. Ms. Taylor.
Thank you. So for this fund, we have two portions of this fund that come before this committee. The risk management insurance portion and the risk management for the civil division. And so for the first one, there is a 6% decrease in expenses due to moving FTEs from this fund back into the general fund. We did a review of this fund with our legal team and found that there were some expenses that would have been better placed into the general fund, and likewise some things in the general fund that would be better placed in the tort. So we did do an analysis of that this year, and there was some shifting with this fund. 6% decrease for FTEs, 29% increase for workers' compensation insurance, and a 40% increase in unemployment insurance. For our civil division, we see a 21% decrease in budget from 2025. A portion of the state's attorney's civil division was reallocated to the general fund, and there was a decrease of $15,000 in the non-contractual services line. And projections for insurance are based on information that we received from our broker, AJ Gallagher. I think that sums up the majority of changes.
Thank you very much. Administrator Taylor, comments or questions on tort judgment? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and vote on 4G1M. That's the request approval of the fiscal year 26 recommended budget for Tort Judgment Fund. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. This carries us to what would be our last item on the agenda. Administrator Taylor, would it be permissible to flip-flop some things around and maybe, since this is a closed since the last item in the agenda is for a closed session, but I'd like to go ahead and give us an opportunity to discuss with Administrator Taylor other items to be presented for information as well, and then be able to take item 5, which is the other business and communication, and then we can make it easier on folks so you don't have to wait around for us.
I do
Is that
have one
okay?
item for information,
All right.
if there's no objection by the
Yes.
committee to do that. So we did receive an email yesterday from DCEO informing us that due to the lateness of our audit, they are holding funds for any grants that we received from DCEO if we do not provide them with that audit within 15 days. So this is one of those consequences for having a late audit in ACFR. We will be making every attempt to get that filed as soon as possible, and I know it is in review, second review. But that is something that, we don't lose the funds, but they will be similar to our second distribution of property tax. They will be held until the audit is complete. That's something that we have not experienced before. I wanted to make sure that the committee was aware in case they heard anything through DCEO or other partners.
Just a curiosity, exactly how many grants are being held up, or are we currently waiting on? Do we have even like a ballpark?
How many DCEO grants we have right now? I believe it's just the one. I don't have that information available
fair.
right now, but I could provide that to you.
Okay. Thank you for that information and for that update. Would we be anticipating the audit to come to a place to where in the coming weeks we can have a special session to get the audit approved? Like, what does that timeline look like for this committee, since we'll need to have a rather quick assembly to be able to approve it?
It is my hope that we would be able to call a special meeting to approve the audit and ACFR presentation by the auditor, the county auditor, before our next regularly scheduled meeting. So stay tuned for that.
Thank you very much, and thank you to you and the rest of administration who've been working tirelessly to make sure that we can get this done as soon as possible. Other comments or questions from the committee on this particular information item? Okay. I truly hope that when we have the opportunity to all get together for that particular special session, that we will have our auditor present to be able to get some additional insight on the process and what we can do going forward to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
See what we can do as a committee, so what we can do in conjunction with the auditor's office, with administration, because I think we are all probably of a like mind that this is an unfortunate situation and certainly unacceptable for 2026. All right. If we can carry on to other business and communication, which is item 5A on the agenda, just letting you know that the next meeting date is November 5th, 2025 at 5 p.m. Did any other members have any other items for other business or communication? All right, seeing none, we're going to go ahead and go back in time now to agenda item 4G1N, and that's the request approval of settlement for claim number WC 20240012-941, closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120-2C11, litigation when an action against affecting on or on behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before court or administrative tribunal when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting. Might I have a motion to take us into closed session? I have a motion by Member Klaus and a second. Second by Member Roseman Mendoza. All of those in favor of taking us into closed session, please signify by saying aye. And that motion carries. Folks, we are now into closed session. As a reminder, microphones off. Thank you to everyone who is able to be here this evening and support. We will be going into closed session in just a few moments if we need a quick bio break in between.